Alright, so it is storming. We've had tornado warnings and watches. I have the screen. It's a good thing I covered that lawnmower. We didn't get all of those things off of the picnic table and out of the yard. But that's okay. Look at my chair. And my wagon. You might want to grab you a cuppa. Hey y'all, it's Burgess Taylor, or Journey with Burgess, and today we're going to be talking about embracing positive messages and retraining our inner dialogue. Buddha once said, all that we are is the result of what we have thought. The mind is everything. What we think, we become. If we think negative, we're going to feel negative. If we have this negative self-talk, we're going to think negatively about ourselves. The key to happiness is to replace negative thinking and bad habits with positive thought and behavior, regardless of what ups and downs life brings our way. That's from a book that my daughter gave me about journaling. My daughter gave me a couple of books, I don't know, about a year or so after my dad died, and then she gave me another one after my brother died, that had to do with serenity and peace and calm and helping you find that in art and other creative means. And I took that quote right out of a thing that I put in my journal. I will show you that in just a minute. It's called The Blossoming Self, this part of what I took out of the book. This is considered to be personal growth. They say the inner flourishing of the true you. And in the book where I took it out, it says drawing, but I'm going to replace the word drawing with journaling. Journaling offers a wonderful way to chart your changing goals, challenges, successes, and disappointments, and the discoveries you make along the way. And I think that is very true. Over the past good little while, I've been feeling pretty negative. Grief, physical pain, and illnesses, things that were going on, things that went wrong, and like just normal everyday life stuff. Well, kind of sort of normal everyday life stuff. You know, the car's breaking down. The starter has a mind of its own. Sometimes it wants to work. Sometimes it doesn't want to work. Things like that. On top of that, whole house got COVID again in February. I've been trying to, over the past good little while, adjust my perspective. Find more balance and fine-tune things. Adapt, attune, fix, you know. And some of the things that I've had to do have meant, well, had to take a long look at what I was doing and how I was doing it and my attitude about it. One of my favorite quotes from a movie is from Jack Sparrow from Pirates of the Caribbean. The problem is not the problem. Your attitude about the problem is the problem. I've tried to distance myself from the negativity. I have been working on changing my emotional and mental inputs, the things that I bring into my life, and instead find sources of more positive input, more positive influences, things like books, fiction and nonfiction, podcast, audible books, videos, blog posts, TV shows, documentaries, even leaders and mentors. Like sometimes I'll find a topic that I'm interested in and I will look up maybe a TED Talk or 3. Sometimes I find books. I'll go to the library, and sometimes if it's something I know I definitely want to keep for my own, I will, get a book. Sometimes I order them from thrift books, sometimes from Amazon, sometimes from the book depository. But I try to pay attention to my self-talk. And have been trying to improve that via affirmations and quotes and little, I'll put post-it notes on places. Hey, today's going to be a great day. I've been trying to start my morning out in some of the journals, like especially like my morning pages and things like that, with hello, whatever day it is, or good morning Monday. Today's going to be a good day. I'm trying to use that for more positive self-talk so I can retrain my brain and get away from some of the negativity, some of the what I feel like is complaining, or the negative self-talk for me sometimes would be guilt, self-doubt, a lack of confidence, different things like that. So worrying, well, am I good enough? Am I doing it right? What if people don't really want to hear this? People don't care about any of this. I'm not photogenic. I don't really look good on video, blah, blah, blah. I think we also have to take a long, hard look at what our expectations are sometimes. Instead of assuming that people can read our minds, we have to be clear communicators. We have to be concise and clear with what we are saying. And that way, we along with the people that we are communicating with, can avoid assumptions, which can cause a lot of issues and problems. So, I've been trying to look for some of the benefits, some of the positive things. Every adversity, every failure, every heartache carries with it the seed of an equal or greater benefit. And there are, even at some of our worst times, we can find something positive that will help us maybe focus on that until we can get through some of the bad times. And I don't say this lightly. In the past few years, a lot of things have happened, and I have been going to grief counseling. Grieving, it ebbs and flows, but I don't want to talk about it all the time. But there's so much stress that I feel it. I've been journaling about it more. So I've also been trying to choose these specific goals, more actionable goals, starting with, the big thing, and breaking it down into, okay, so we could actually, let's say, the project for the year, or some projects for the year. And then I break it down to the projects for the quarter. How am I going to do this per quarter, per season? And then I'm like, okay, how am I going to do this per month? What do I need to do? And then what do I need to do per week? And then what do I need to do per day? And it helps. Now, I may not have that all correct. Things might change, but that's okay. I tend to try to visualize it in my head, and I will brainstorm, mind map. Sometimes I just do a brain dump, and I'm like getting all the thoughts and the ideas and everything down on paper. Another thing that I've had to remind myself of, because my negative self-talk often says, that sucks. I don't know why you're doing it. Just give up. I don't give up. I'm not giving up. I have to remember and try to maintain focus and motivate myself. Remember to motivate myself. And part of that's just perseverance. It's determination. Part of it is also trying to find solutions that work for you, creative solutions, thinking outside of the box. It's also about, for me, being mindful and in the present, and trying to stay mindful in the present. And it doesn't always work. And sometimes I use meditation to help me with that. And I'm not talking about the sitting with your, kind of meditation. And it's okay if there are setbacks. And I know that there are going to be setbacks. I've already encountered some setbacks. But I can't let those setbacks affect me and my goals and what I'm doing. Letting go of the negative self-talk, embracing the positive messages, improves our happiness and our well-being. According to a psychotherapist, or 3, I'm not even going to try to pronounce their names. One said, positive affirmations make us more aware of our thought processes and encourage self-compassion, which can help us retain our inner dialogue. Another psychotherapist said, the more we engage in positive experiences and thought, the more we activate our RAS, which is reticular activating system, and that's at the base of our brain, and that's sort of like a filter for the mind. It actually processes data gained via the senses and mind. It helps prioritize what's important at the moment. We are activating our RAS to create a pattern where we prioritize information with positive qualities. While the science makes sense, deciding to be and remain positive can be tough. What's easier is learning techniques that you can incorporate into daily life. And I agree completely. So I've been trying to do this very thing. I had found this article in, I want to say it might have been Breathe magazine. It was called Embrace the Messages. And in parentheses, they have positive. And then in another Breathe article, and in another, I think I found, was where they were talking about changing the negative self-talk. So I've combined the two of the articles. What do you think when you look in the mirror? When you are looking at what you did in the journal? When you catch a glimpse of yourself? Or when you look at a photo of yourself? Or when you look at yourself in the videos when you're editing? Yeah, Burgess. Yep. Instead of focusing on what's wrong with my face, my body, my work, and letting those thoughts completely and utterly fill my head and circling round and round and round they go, to actually become aware of those very things. What am I thinking? What started that thinking? And how am I going to change that thought? I'm going to, think through some of these positive things about myself. I did a great job on this part. Or look at how long my hair has gotten. Or my face has really cleared up a lot. Especially since I started using this lotion. It's a PM lotion. It's CeraVe. I really love this lotion. It's been really helping a lot. And I can't do some of the work I want to do, or it's hard for me to do the detail work on the art, start beating up myself because I can't do what I want to be able to do. I can't do what I used to be able to do. So I am thinking about, but I'm like, oh, well, I'm doing a good job, though. Look, I can do this. Later, I can come back to it, and it will give me something to do. I've already done a pretty good job of setting it up. When my hands are feeling a little bit better, I will go back and do more of the detail work. It's okay. Changing the language, though, that we say things to ourselves. How I talk to myself, or the conversation in my head that I have with myself or about myself, it's quite a bit different than when I am talking to somebody else, or I try to change things up. So instead of using words like, I can't, because I was raised that there's no such thing as can't. You either do or you don't. You will or you won't. Or I never, which I try not to say, because never, as soon as you say, oh, I'm never gonna, you do. And reframing it with things like, I can try that, or I'm willing to do that. And that helps, and it puts you in a good frame of mind. It really does. One of the other things that's really been helping with me, because sometimes when I'm trying to get this positive self-talk, like I said, I try to come up with affirmations or quotes that help. I don't always come up with that one word or that one phrase or that thought all by myself that will make me smile or laugh. It's harder with anxiety and depression, so I found that having some things to help me, and I save them, say like on a Pinterest board, or I bookmark things, or I write them out, or I take a picture of it and print it. Things like quotes and affirmations and short videos that make me laugh or make me feel good. And that helps me because I have a specific thing to think about. So I have this affirmation. One of the psychotherapists suggests that you put these little notes to yourself, affirmations, quotes, positive phrases, and you put them in places where you'll see them regularly, such as on the refrigerator or a dressing table, a mirror, or uploading them as the background on your phone, things like that. And this is exactly what the psychotherapist said. Positive thinking is a constant work in progress and takes time to find out what works for you. But working on it can have such an amazingly wide effect on your well-being. One of the things that they suggested is navigating from the negative. So while you're incorporating these positive things into your day and your life, it's important, but you have to learn how to deal with the negative. Trying to avoid negative thoughts altogether might be setting yourself up for failure. So the psychotherapist says that learning to know how to deal with those thoughts, those negative thoughts, is one of the keys to it. It's empowering to realize that we create our own experience of the world by the thoughts we have. I started this with Buddha and the quote, And I was like, yes, we are what we think we are. The first step in letting go of negative thoughts is accepting that they come and go. They're seasonal. And just like a lot of things in life that feel kind of seasonal, like we go through periods of time where we're really positive and then it'll ebb and flow. And then sometimes things that work don't work. And then you have to rethink, or you have to find something new and something different. Once you have self-awareness and notice that you are experiencing a negative thought, you realize that it's just a thought and not reality. Often negative thought patterns cycle because we believe them to be true, but a thought is only a thought and it is not reflective of reality. Really liked that message. That's one of the things I've been trying to do for myself is work on the messages that I'm sending myself, the messages that I'm putting out into things, and trying to be better about some of that, like the more positive. One of the best things I've found to do whenever I feel that way is to journal, is to text journal, art journal, sketch, doodle, collage, write poetry, write and get those things out, get all my ideas out, do stuff like that. I find it very helpful. Have been working on finding a better routine for starting my day and ending my day. And I've been working on that positive self-talk, visualization, and it seems to really be helping. I'm feeling much better, and I'm really excited, and I'm doing things again. I'm journaling, and I'm watercoloring, and I'm collaging, and I feel good about them. And it may or may not last all day. It may or may not last all week. I might have to work at it a little bit more this afternoon, or work at it a little bit more in the morning, or work at it a little bit more 2 or 3 days from now. I know that it's all not going to be like hunky-dory. I know I'm not just going to tell myself, oh, well, we're going to be positive. We're going to have a good day. It's not going to rain. No, that's not going to work. I have to really dig down and think, okay, how can I change my day to be happy, be more positive from the very beginning to the end? And I'm not saying it's not okay, that it's not okay to get frustrated or to get aggravated or something like that during the day, because that's not what I'm saying at all. But I have found that the more that I can think about things or write about them and then go back and think about them and different things like that, the better I feel, because I'm able to work it out in my mind. That's one of the great things about journaling, is it helps you work out things. So I'm going to show you some of the things that I did throughout the past few days, and some of it's journaling, some of it's watercoloring. I have been procrastinating about doing anything in my journal that has to do with what's going on in the world right now with the Ukraine. It's just been devastating, and it has made me so completely and utterly sad. I'm trying really hard to stay positive, but I'm not putting my head in the sand. So I have been keeping up with things. I have a lot of stuff printed out to do for the Ukraine, about what's going on in the news. I'm going to have to do it in bits because it's a lot. This started in February and now it's April. So I've got quite a bit of journaling to do, and it's going to be more current events kind of journaling for the most part with some things. And then I will write my own personal thoughts and opinions later on. But I thought I'd start with watercoloring a sunflower for the Ukraine. Stand by Ukraine. Stand with Ukraine. Stand with Ukraine. It's a good place to start because watercoloring helps me get into that positive, creative flow, mental state of mind. And that's such a wonderful place to be, that while I'm in that and I was doing the watercolor sunflower, it gave me a chance to think, to clear my mind. It felt relevant. For months now, I've been trying to figure out how I wanted to journal and document what's going on with the Ukraine, with Russia. I haven't felt confident enough to feel like I do it right. So I put it off. And when it started was in February, and I had COVID And the thought of journaling about that while I was so sick and in the bed was just like, so I kept note of it. And I kept up with some of the information. Some of the information was in a notebook that was just a scribble things down notebook that I happened to have in the bedroom when I was bedbound with COVID. Other things I bookmarked, and then I went back in and printed them out. I'm still got lots of stuff to do, so that's okay. I thought maybe the best place for me to start is what works for me to help me center myself and get into that creative flow. So I started with the watercolor of the sunflower, and I go from there. And I'm not finished with it by any means, but I thought you might be interested in how I'm getting back into some of the journaling and the different ways that I journal. I'm documenting current events. I'm doing different things, and I thought we would go through some of the different things that I'm doing and how I'm doing it, because right now I'm at this, I kind of need to catch up a little bit. I'm going to go back in and do some journaling and some of the different notebooks, which have to do with the different aspects of my life and how I want to document things. So I hope that you'll enjoy this. It's a little bit vlog. It's just kind of showing you what's been going on. I took a bit of a mini vacation. I went to see my cousin at her condo, and I spent a long weekend. I left Thursday afternoon, and I came back Monday late morning. I also got to see my aunt this morning. I'm feeling much, much better. It was like a mini vacation. Let's get to journaling. Dennis Diderot said, "There are things I cannot force. I must adjust. There are times when the greatest change needed is a change of my viewpoint." A good while back, I would not have done this little portion of the vlog or even tried to attempt a vlog. Self-doubt, fear, insecurities would have prevented me from doing that. I would have let that stand in my way. However, when you are inspired and you have been already trying to make those changes, sometimes you just have to do what you have to do. A Ukrainian woman confronted a heavily armed Russian soldier. Some soldiers were out doing exercises. She asked them what they were doing there. He told her they were doing exercises. He told her she needed to leave. And she got upset with them, and she told them that they didn't belong there, and he told her she didn't belong there, she needed to leave. She was getting very frustrated. She kept telling him, "You don't belong here. What are you doing here? Y'all need to leave." He kept on telling her he didn't want it to escalate, for her to leave. And I think finally she had had enough. And she offered him some sunflower seeds. She told him to put them in his pocket so that the flowers would grow. They would come out of his pocket. They would grow whenever he died there on Ukrainian soil, those flowers would grow. And I was like, yes. Not that I want anybody to die. That's not what I mean. But she stood up for herself. She stood up for her country. She stood up for what was right. They're being bullied. Russia is bullying the Ukraine. And before, like I said, I would not have done this portion of a vlog, much less a vlog, a while back. To voice my opinion about something, especially when it can be turned around, but sometimes with political stuff and things like that, people really, the comments aren't always nice. Like I said, sometimes you got to do what you got to do. And I felt inspired and motivated by this lady in the Ukraine and the movement with the movement. The sunflower is not only the national flower of the Ukraine, but sunflowers are also a big oilseed crop for the Ukraine. As a matter of fact, there are some farms in Florida and Virginia, other places that sell sunflowers, and they are donating part of their proceeds to help the Ukraine. I find that so wonderful, so inspiring, so awe-inspiring. Sunflowers have become the symbol of solidarity and unity with the Ukraine, to stand with Ukraine. And I wanted to put that in there with the information for the current events about Ukraine. I had gotten behind with documenting current events. I had gotten behind with documenting life stuff while I was sick. I'd also tried to get back into the swing of things and do a little bit here and a little bit there, and that worked okay. But when the moment that I came back to the studio, I overdid it, and that wasn't good. My body wasn't ready for all of that. But one of the things that it made me realize, taking this mini vacation, taking this time away, which my husband was like, yes, you need to go do this. And he was right. I did need some time away. I did need to relax and enjoy myself, chill. And my cousin, same thing. When you have families, responsibilities, and stuff like that, sometimes it's hard to just relax. But I did. I got some time away. We went and visited our hometown, which is Charleston. We went to Bessinger's for lunch. We went and looked around some of the places where we used to hang out, where we grew up, where our grandmother lived, where my cousin lived. We went to James Island, where I lived, and I took pictures of the house I grew up in. I think we had that house for, I don't know, 20 something years. So I had started to distance myself from the negativity before I took the mini vacation, but the mini vacation helped me even more to do that. And it made me realize just how important it is for you to have more positive emotional and mental inputs, influences. So I've been trying to find sources that are more positive things and do things that are more positive, that refill my well, not just creatively, but personally. I am trying to pay attention to the self-talk, whether it's positive or negative. And I'm also trying to remember that sometimes with adversity, with failure, with heartache, there is the seed of an equal or a greater benefit. That's a quote. I don't know who, it's a paraphrased quote. I changed it a little bit. Don't know who said it. So I've been working on actionable steps that help, because some of my goals have changed. Some of my goals are changing. Some of my goals I had to let go. This mini vacation was one of the best things I could have done for myself. I also truly enjoyed spending the time with my cousin. I got to see my aunt before I left her house. My aunt was coming to stay a couple of days at the condo with her aunt, my aunt, our cool aunt. It was nice. And there have been several setbacks this year already, but I'm not letting those define my attitude. They don't define whether I'm successful or accomplish things or not. I'm not looking at them as failures. They have been learning experiences, and there wasn't anything I could have done to control the fact that I was sick or that my father-in-law died or any of those things. I've realized that part of my problem with certain things has actually been my attitude. So as Jack Sparrow said, the problem is not the problem. Your attitude about the problem is the problem, and I'm working on that, working on my attitude. I'm also working on some of the things that are problematic, like a lack of sleep, like the CPAP machine, vitamins, exercise, diet, trying to improve those things. Although I don't suppose that eating at Bessinger's with that wonderful barbecue sandwich and those steak fries and that, oh my God, fried onion ring would be considered healthy food, but it was delicious. Seeing the battery, it was a bit chilly that day. There's also a picture of the balcony from the condo. I hope that you've enjoyed this. I enjoyed it. I am going to be going back. I don't know when I'll be going back to see her at the condo, because I'm not sure when she'll be back from Indiana. But until then, you'll be seeing more journal videos. And I hope you've had a good one. Thank you so much for being here. Don't forget to do the YouTube-y things. Like, subscribe, bell notification, and share if you can. All of those help the analytics and help my channel and the videos, help them be recommended to other people. Bye, y'all.